Hey, Money Magnets. I'm your host, Dr. Amanda. And if you're a coach, expert, or service-based business owner, you're in the right place to learn law of attraction strategies that will help you get into productive action, improve your client attraction, and turn on your money magnetism so you can rapidly grow your business. And in today's episode, you're going to learn 5 reasons why journaling will help you get aligned to grow your business. Now, this is critical that you keep listening, even if you're someone who goes, I already journal, or I hate journaling, I would never want to do that, or you're somewhere in between on that spectrum. And the reason I say that you're going to want to stay and listen is because by the end of this episode, I want you to have enough belief in journaling that you're going to try it and that you're going to stick to this habit. And the reason for this is because it is the number one habit that I have had all one-on-one clients do that has blown their mind in terms of the results that they get from this very simple habit. So I've worked with different types of entrepreneurs, all the way from startups to multimillionaire companies and business owners. And the number one habit, and I could actually say 2, it'd be meditation and journaling. Journaling is something I always start my clients on. And typically the ones that I worked with were not practicing journaling. So they always had heard they should, and they'd pick up a journal and they'd try to figure some way out to write something. And then they'd give up because they'd stare at the blank page and they wouldn't know what to write. And they felt like it was an annoying habit versus one that was giving them benefits. And there are ways to journal that are more supportive than others. Obviously, if you're looking at the blank page and not knowing what to write, that's not going to be very helpful. And so what I started to find with my clients was, they need a template. So I would create a template for them of what to write about every day. And then we would do weekly check-ins, and they were just so mind blown about how much they discovered about themselves and how much it got their mind out of that overwhelmed state, and how it got them clear and strategic, goal-oriented, accomplishing their goals, feeling more aligned, dropping stress and frustration. I mean, hands down, I'm telling you, this is a really powerful habit. So if you have been following me for a while, you also know, because I'm so into journaling and meditation, I've created a daily program to help people succeed using law of attraction strategies. And one of those methods that is in the daily program is journaling and meditation. So every single day in my Law of Attraction for Business school, I teach a mini lesson, and then I give a journaling prompt so that you're not staring at the blank page and you're actually digging into your subconscious belief system, and even just practical, actionable strategies through journaling. I have you meditate, and I give you an affirmation mantra. So if you don't know about my program, just go to lawofattractionforbusiness.school. The link is also in the show notes. Check it out with a free 7-day trial. This program is designed to help you do what I've helped multimillionaire companies do, company owners do, right? Where they get aligned, they get strategic, and they just have this sense of confidence and feeling good every day because they're using strategies that support quick win results. And when I say quick win results, it's reprogramming over time. That is one of the benefits of journaling. It causes you to reprogram yourself over time. I really think about my journal as my Bible of myself. So think about it where it's this storehouse of information of you revealing unconscious parts of yourself, of you awakening to what you've been thinking about on repeat, so that you can decide, do I want to reframe that and get different results? Do I love what I'm thinking about and just use my journal as a wins journal? There's so many ways to use it. I'm going to give you 5 reasons why, and I'm going to give you very specific journaling questions that go along with these reasons so that you can start practicing and just seeing if you did this for 5 days along with these 5 reasons and see how it feels, and then thought, I want to continue on, just join me in the Law of Attraction for Business school, and you'll get a journaling prompt every single day, Monday through Friday. So let's break down the 5 reasons. Number 1, first and foremost, clarity and vision. When you journal, you gain clarity. And clarity is the starting point of all transformation. If you are wanting to change something about yourself as a business owner, as a partner, as a parent, as a human, as a physical body, you want to change physical habits, then journaling will help you gain clarity. And the reason for this is because until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. This is what Carl Jung says, and it's so powerful to know that until you have clarity, which means you bring your unconscious conscious, it is literally impossible to change. You cannot change what you're not clear about. you can't do it because you are just running on the treadmill, going, and not slowing it down enough to think, is what I'm doing working? And so journaling helps you gain clarity when you do it strategically. And in all of these 5 reasons that I'm going to give you, you're going to want to think about my inner power formula and how journaling is a process that helps you implement the inner power formula. So the inner power formula is 3 steps. You recognize, you reframe, and then you repeat those reframes to reprogram yourself. So recognize, reframe, repeat to reprogram. So in your journal, first, you're practicing recognition, which helps you gain clarity. You're making the unconscious conscious so you can then reframe the clarity and get different results. So let's say you're in your journal writing about feeling overwhelmed. Let's just say every day you're feeling, I'm overwhelmed. I'm not sure what to do. I feel frustrated. Things aren't happening as fast as I would like. Maybe this aspect of my business is working, but this other aspect isn't. That's your clarity and your recognition. The beauty of slowing down enough to write this in your journal is that it gives you space to recognize that you're frustrated. Some people don't even slow down enough to notice that. They just keep pushing hard, thinking that they've got to work hard to make money. They've got to work hard to succeed, and they don't slow down enough to get conscious about what is and isn't working. So this inner power formula mixed with journaling is a really easy way to start to gain clarity. Then once you're clear, you can say, okay, if I'm clear that it is working, keep doing what you're doing. If you're clear that something isn't working, now you can reframe it. Now when you do this every single day and weekly, you are reprogramming yourself to get better and better and better results week after week. When you improve just by a tiny little bit each and every week, you actually have huge gains over the course of a year. This is another reason that people fail, is that they think they've got to make these giant bounds and leaps of growth. And when they don't have that happen quickly, they give up. And change really does not happen that way for most people. Every once in a while, you might have a huge quantum leap change. And it's very rare because you've built up so much habit in your thinking and in your state of being around the way you are now, that even if you have a change of belief and you go, oh my God, I realize why I have been getting the results is because I've been thinking this one way for so long. You have that thought which initiates the change, which is putting you in a new direction. Now you've got to build momentum in that direction through repetition to get a different result. That's why it takes a little bit of time for change. And you can't change again, like I said, unless you have clarity. Another thing here I said is clarity and vision. Journaling helps you with your clarity and vision. So this is reason number 1. And if you don't know your vision, it's impossible to get there. So in your journal, you want to be using your journal as a way to identify your vision, to get clear on who you are, to get clear on how you operate. And so I'm going to give you 2 questions here that are really fun to dig into your zone of genius and alignment in terms of what you do want to be spending your time on. So question number 1 to journal about is, what if I had $1 billion? What would I do with my time? Notice I didn't say what would I do with my money, because I want you to have the freedom to do what you want with your time. The only thing that a lot of money gives you is that freedom of choice. And most people go, oh, I would spend it on this and this and this. Again, pay attention to what you'd be spending the money on, because that's how you're spending your time. And time is the most important commodity that we have, because it's not replaceable, whereas money is. You can earn more money. You can't create more time. There's 24 hours in the day for every single person. And so what if I had $1 billion? What would I do with my time is a very powerful question to ask yourself, and keep asking yourself this one over and over. If you did this every month for a year, you would recognize patterns and you'd start to understand, oh, that's my zone of genius. That's what I enjoy doing. If I were financially free 100% and I never had to worry about money again, what would I do with my time? That's going to give you clues about your vision. The second question here, if I could redesign my business and only do exactly what I love, what would my business look like? So this is like a perfect day journaling question, or a perfect business journaling question. So if I could redesign my business and only do exactly what I love, what would my business look like? Now, this is really going to also help you get clear on what you want to drop, automate, and delegate. So you're going to dad your system through this question, drop, automate, delegate, by knowing what you love to do. Some things in your business are going to be things that need to be done, but you don't want to do. Delegate those. Some things in your business are things you've been doing that you actually don't need to do at all. Drop those. Some things in your business could be systematized with an automated something. Like I always use the example of an email nurture sequence. Could be your calendar telling you what to do because you've blocked it out a week in advance and you do this every Friday. That's an automated system. Could be that you have alarms that go off to remind you about certain things. Those are automated systems. So you want to redesign your business to do exactly what you love, and you want to get clear on that every single week, every single month, so that you can be building a business that you enjoy, that brings you easy magnetic money and client attraction, because you're getting into your zone of manifestation, which is where all the magic happens, because you're doing things you love. Remember, when you do things you hate, from a law of attraction perspective, you're pushing away success because there's a resistant energy, a repellent energy. And anytime you have resistance, you're slowing down the progress toward the thing that you say you want. And so journaling about this helps you gain clarity. Can't tell you how many times I've been stuck, and I'll have a journaling session with myself and I'll write down these questions. I'll say, okay, if I could just redesign my business today and drop all the crap I don't like and just only do what I love, what are the things that I really, really, really love doing? And I get clear, and then I feel so much better. First of all, my feelings shift, my energy shifts, and then I get clear on what best next action steps to take. And so in this way, I also want you to think about your journal as self-coaching. You're coaching yourself through gaining clarity, and now you know what to do next. All the answers are within you right now. You probably just aren't slowing down enough to recognize them. And so I often tell people, when I'm coaching, I say, I don't have all the answers for you. We're going to help you get to the answers by me guiding you through important questions. That's the aspect of coaching. Then if you say, hey, I recognize this is what I want. How do I get there? I can consult you on the best next productive action steps to take that are going to help you attract clients, grow your business, and get into that flow state where you have money magnetism happening. It starts with you knowing yourself, because ultimately I don't know everything in your life or your business. No one outside of you does. You know yourself better than anyone else. You're just masking yourself from seeing it, and journaling will be a tool that will help you unmask those things so that you can come up with some answers yourself, and then know where to get guidance from mentors, coaches, teachers, masterminds, anyone that you're going to reach out to outside of yourself. First, you've got to understand why it is that you need that specific support. And so journaling is a great way to help bring clarity and vision. Okay. Reason number 2 that journaling will help you get aligned to grow your business is goal setting and manifestation. So to use your journal for goal setting and manifestation, I want you to try out 2 things. You're going to do scripting, and you're going to do a wants brainstorm. So in scripting, here's what you write out. You write out, I am so happy and grateful now that, and then you just start writing. So I'm so happy and grateful now that. So the purpose of scripting is that you are going to step into the feeling of the wish fulfilled by writing it out as if it's already happened. So when you write something down as if it's already happened, your brain starts to see it as a current reality, and it starts to match your frequency to that reality so that you can attract it to you. So it's almost like tricking your brain into thinking something's happening that's not happening. If we think about, sometimes you hear people say, act as if. It's kind of like that, where you're writing it down and you're starting to feel it and you're seeing it happen, and then it can come to you. And so it's a really playful process, and you just write things down as if they've happened. So let's just use an example of saying, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have a business that brings in blank amount, whatever amount that is for you. And I get to work with people I love every single day. I wake up in the morning and I do this and this and this. And you just write out exactly what it is you'd like to be doing. And you describe your office, and you describe the clients you're working with, and you describe, maybe the clothes you're wearing, or whatever it is for you, whatever it is you're playing towards toward manifesting. The trick here is that it's playful, it's a fun process, and you're just playing with envisioning the thing that you want to create, and you're writing it as if it's already happened. Now, if you're on the podcast and you go to the search and you just type in scripting, I've done episodes on this before, and on YouTube I've done them, and I show in a written out version what it is that I say when I script. And I've used scripting to manifest my husband Abe. I've used it to manifest the house that we're in, business success, health, so many things. It works really well. Similarly, I've used a wants process in my journal. So the word want. Now, remember, you don't want things in desperation. When you want things in desperation, the energy behind that you're sending out, the frequency is going to be a low vibrational frequency of fear. If you're wanting something you don't have and you feel desperate for it and needy for it, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about wanting something where it awakens a similar feeling as the scripting, where you're like, ooh, I want this and I want that, and this sounds fun. Oh, wouldn't it be awesome if I have this? So it's more of a creative force, and it's a desire force, and it's you stepping into the vision of the fulfillment of it because you're awakening your desires. So desire is a very magnetic force. Everything happens first through desire. You wouldn't get anything in your life accomplished if you didn't have a desire to do it. That's why people procrastinate and hesitate, is because they don't have strong enough desire. So your wants journaling is raising your desire and increasing your magnetism to have those things come to you. So when I do this, all I do is I write at the top of my journal wants. So typically what I do here is, because like I said, I do a daily session in my Law of Attraction for Business school. So I listen to the lesson, I answer those journaling questions. And then at the end of that, when I'm finished, I just say, what do I want right now? Or, wants. And then I just start bullet pointing out everything I can think of until I go, okay, I'm good for today. Sometimes this takes 2 minutes. Sometimes I let myself go for 10 minutes. It's as long as you would like to go. Just you're writing down your wants and you're awakening your desires. So it could be, I want 1 client today. I want 5,000 downloads on the episode this week. I want blank, 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 whatever it is, right? And you just start playing with those wants. If you notice yourself when you're doing these getting into a state of desperation, stop doing it. Do something different. Because remember, if you are in a state that is desperate, you are sending out the opposite of attracting the thing you want. So when you are journaling on your wants, if it's causing you to feel void or uncertainty or not enoughness, then don't do it. Take a break for that day. Try again tomorrow. Perhaps make your wants smaller. So it could be as simple as, I want a cup of tea today. I want to go on a nature walk. Something that you can 100% fulfill. Start there and then fulfill them, and then notice yourself wanting more the next day and increase it, and then keep increasing it over time. Sometimes what will happen is if you go too big of a stretch, it starts to awaken doubt, and that's not what you want to be creating here. It's just like when I teach mantras versus the way most people use affirmations. If you're saying an affirmation and it's causing disbelief and doubt, and it's causing you to beat yourself up subconsciously going, you're full of crap, you can't get that, you're causing resistance. So instead you want to use a starter statement where you say, I am ready and open to attracting blank. So similarly, when you're doing wants journaling, you want the same feeling to be happening where your subconscious is in full agreement and it's saying, yes, that would be awesome to have. You don't want your subconscious to be saying, you're full of crap, you can never get that. Why do you want so much? You should be grateful for what you have. If you're beating yourself up like that, this isn't going to work. So play with stretching it in different ways and have it feel 100% good. Okay. Number 3, the third reason why journaling will help you get aligned for business growth is that it helps you overcome bottlenecks. So when you identify and overcome stuck points, you're able to improve your system. You're able to improve your results and get better results. So again, I'm going to bring up the inner power formula here, because in order to overcome stuck points, you've got to recognize them. So recognize, reframe, repeat to reprogram. Every Monday in my Law of Attraction for Business school, I ask 3 questions, and we do this every single week because it's so critical that you repeat this process in order to get different results. So here are the 3 questions. What's working? So you just want to ask yourself simply, what worked best last week? What worked best last week? And then you ask yourself, what didn't work? So what didn't work? And then now that I know what worked and what didn't work, what will I change or reframe this week to get better results? So those 3 questions are insanely powerful. to help you identify and overcome stuck points. The reason is because now you're noticing, oh, when I did this last week, that worked really well, and I'll keep doing more of that. Or you notice, wow, last week I tested out this new system and it didn't work at all. How am I going to rethink this? Perhaps you're in a state of not knowing yet because you're still testing. You say, okay, I did this. The numbers I tracked are growing, but not yet to the level I'd like. I'm going to test it for 1 or 2 more weeks, and then I'll know. So this is giving you guidelines, and it's giving you reflective awareness each and every week to know what to change in your systems. This could be in your personal life. This could be at the gym. It could be in your relationships. It could be with your health, your spirituality, your business, your money. You can apply this across the board to identify stuck points. So those 3 questions, if you just use those every week, you will be shocked what changes for you. And again, I just want to remind you, if you're jiving with what I'm saying right now, you want to be in my Law of Attraction for Business school. It will change you from the inside out permanently. Beyond having journaling prompts every day, I also do live coaching every single week to help you grow your business. And I do workshops. So I'm there for you fully. So lawofattractionforbusiness.school, 7-day free trial. So you can test it out and see if you like it. I really encourage you to check it out if you haven't yet. It is changing people from the inside out. It is awesome. Okay. So again, on overcoming bottlenecks, another thing that's important here when you ask yourself what's working, what's not, and then what will I change based on knowing this also gives you clarity on what to dad. So when I say dad your system, you want to drop, automate, delegate the things that aren't working or the things that cause you frustration. So let's say week after week, when you're asking yourself these questions, you notice, oh my God, I keep procrastinating on this, this, and this every single week. I just hate doing it. I don't want to do it. That is going to give you clarity about something that is not in alignment with your zone of genius, because if it was, you would do it. You would have more fun doing it. You would look forward to doing it. You wouldn't be procrastinating. So that's something that you want to delegate if it's necessary to grow your business. It could also be that it's something on your list that just isn't necessary. Drop it. Again, you could also automate it. So dad your system. So those questions are going to help you dad your system and get more efficient so you can be more magnetic to money and opportunities. Okay. Reason number 4, tracking progress and celebrating wins. So when you track your progress and you celebrate your wins, you are creating a positive feedback loop that causes you to recognize how awesome you're doing. This is incredibly important because most entrepreneurs set goals, they achieve them, and then without even celebrating themselves, they go on to the next goal that they've already set before they even accomplish this one. And there's this cracking of the whip that happens with high achievers where they're never in the gain, they're always in the gap. So this is a concept formulated by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy in the book, The Gap and the Gain. I actually have a podcast episode on this book that gives you the summary of it. It is an awesome book. So look up episode number 50. If you see episode 50 of the Inner Power Entrepreneur podcast, which is right before this same stream, don't go anywhere else. Just look up episode 50 or number 339. I'm not sure how we have it labeled, but it gives you 5 law of attraction lessons for entrepreneurs from The Gap and the Gain. And really incredible way of thinking. And it ties very specifically to reason number 4 today, where you're going to use journaling to track your progress and celebrate your wins. A question that you want to be asking yourself. So here's something to journal on. What did I believe at the beginning of this year that I don't believe today? So just wherever you're listening to this, I want you to think back to the beginning of the year and ask yourself, what did I believe a year ago that I don't believe today? So whenever you're listening to this, just think of it from that perspective. This question, wow, it will give you so much insight. If you just think back a year ago, how much you've grown in a year sometimes is, wow, mind-blowing. And so this will give you a ton of perspective and help you really celebrate yourself and how far you've come. And then another question that's really powerful when you're thinking about tracking progress and celebrating your wins is think back to 10 years ago. What was I thinking and feeling, believing, and doing? So I want you to date, today's date, think back 10 years ago, and then start writing out where you were 10 years ago. And you will just go, holy moly. I mean, for many of us, you weren't even thinking about being an entrepreneur. I wasn't. I was not married to my honey. I didn't own a house. I was a single mom. I was just entering into being on food stamps. I was working my buns off to get my PhD, I mean, my life was completely different. And so I don't know where you were at, but 10 years is a long time. And I want you to use this strategy in journaling to recognize how far you can come in a decade and how far you can go in a decade from now. And added to this part of tracking progress and celebrating wins in your journal, start a wins journal. So I now just have a journal that is exclusive to writing down my wins every single day. So big or small, I write down my wins every single day. And it is so fun to go back and read, whoa, look how much I did last week. Look at all the cool wins every single week. So play with this strategy to celebrate yourself and remember the critical importance of celebrating yourself, noticing your wins, being in the gain instead of the gap, where you are constantly cheering yourself on instead of beating yourself up. This will keep your vibrational frequency very high. And from a law of attraction perspective, that's what's going to keep magnetically attracting success to you instead of going on the downward spiral where you're beating yourself up, thinking you're not enough, comparing yourself negatively to other people, feeling like you haven't gotten as far as you wanted to be at this point in time. That's all going to cause you to repel success. So we want you to stay in the gain, feel awesome, celebrate your wins, celebrate yourself, and keep moving forward by tracking your progress. Reason number 5 that journaling will help you get aligned to grow your business is energetic alignment. So I debated about whether I should put this one first. So I say energetic alignment and inspired learning. And in part, I think this needs to go first because your energetic alignment is always the basis and the foundation of all of your success. And if you don't align yourself energetically first, none of the rest of anything will succeed. You are the center of your reality. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. If you don't like what's going on the outside, change what's within. So this really is the foundation of everything. And this is why I think that journaling is by far the most important thing you can do to get energetically aligned, is because you're cultivating a relationship with yourself in your journal. And your relationship with yourself is by far the most important relationship you will ever build. If you think about the most successful people you know, I would be surprised if they don't journal. All of the people that I follow who I think are the ones who I go, yeah, I want that life. I want that business. I want that level of financial success and all the types of successes, they journal. They're very self-reflective. They're self-aware. If you go back and listen to the episodes on my podcast here that were called Max Potential Habits, when I would interview people, I would always ask them, what are the top 3 habits that got you where you are today? And a vast majority of them would say journaling was on their list. So they'd often say journaling and meditation. Morning routine was key for them, and which included journaling and meditation. And that's why I started doing it. And that's why I have a program designed entirely around that, because I see success leaving clues. It's worked for me. It works for them. It will work for you. So in energetic alignment, a couple strategies here that are fun to use your journal for: brain dump list to reduce overwhelm. So what you would do in this case is just write down everything that you have on your list, everything that's taking up space in your mind, and just get it out of your system. And then you can use your journal to prioritize and, just go, oh, okay, I've got to do this and this and this and this. And now, what's the most productive action I can take first? And then next. And then you just start marking it off your list, and it feels so good. So that's just a really practical way to use your journal as a brain dump list every single day. I've had clients who started just with that, and that was all they did in their journal. I would just say, okay, every morning, write down everything you can think of that's on your mind, and then organize it by the top 3 actions that you can take based on that brain dump list. Once those are done and crossed off, then go back to the list and write the next 3. Get as far as you can. The next day, write everything down again. And they were so shocked that by the end of the week, they had less and less on their list, and that throughout the week, they weren't feeling so overwhelmed with keeping it all stuck in their minds. So that's a very powerful way to reduce overwhelm. So try that strategy and see how it works this week. And then another thing that you can use your journal for here in number 5, when you're thinking about energetic alignment and inspired learning, is just write quotes and inspiration and mantras in your journal. So the way I like to organize my journal is in the front cover of my journal. I write down my 5 lifetime goals on the front cover, and then I actually type that out because they're kind of long. So I type it, and then I tape it into the front of my journal, and I do that in every journal. And then as inspiration is coming to me, I will write, my favorite quotes on the cover of my journal. I will write my goals for that period of that journal. I'll write down if someone says something to me that really stands out, like a key moment or a highlight or an epiphany of some sort. I'll write that in my journal. And so I just fill up the front cover of my journal with that. And that way, every day when I go to journal, I open it and there I've got all my inspiration right there. I have a section in the back of my journal. Usually it's about 10 pages. I go through my journals pretty quickly. So I have about 10 pages in the back of my journal, and I just put a tab, and that's for learning. So when I'm listening to podcasts and I'm having epiphanies, I'll write down what I'm learning. Sometimes I'm taking courses and I'll write down learning there. And so I just use the back of my journal for that. And then the back cover of my journal, this is a new one that I've been testing out that actually I've done on the last 3 journals, I believe. It's been so great. I write down journal takeaways, so key journal takeaways, and I leave my whole back cover for this. And what that space is designated for is that I go back through my journal and I read the entire journal when it's finished. And then I write down my top key takeaways from the journal on the back cover. That way, when I pick up an old journal to review my year or review me, I just go to the back cover and I see exactly the key takeaways from the entire journal. And holy moly, that's been a really fun addition to my journaling because it helps you see your evolution of thinking and your evolution of, what you thought at the time of that journal versus where you are today. And so try that out. That's a really fun strategy that I just started doing in the last year. Oh, okay. So many good things. So let's recap the top 5 reasons. And of course, I'm going to remind you, go to lawofattractionforbusiness.school, lawofattractionforbusiness.school. The link is in the show notes. This is your place to get daily journaling prompts Monday through Friday, to get a lesson, some meditation, an mantra, inspiration. Probably that's the number one thing I hear people say. They're like, you're so inspiring. I love to listen to you every day and start my day with this. That alone will change your world. Then there's also coaching. There is a course vault with a class that's teaching you how to get to 6 figures in your business. So many things. Free trial, 7 days, lawofattractionforbusiness.school. So recapping today, the reasons that journaling will help you get aligned to grow your business. Reason number 1, you will gain clarity. Number 2, achieve goals by scripting. Number 3, identify and overcome stuck points. Number 4, you will be able to track your progress and celebrate your wins. And number 5, you can get into energetic alignment and inspired learning. That is why your journal is so important. I really encourage you to get a journal if you don't have one, to start journaling more if you have one and have been practicing and would like to do more of it. If you are already a journaler and you are like, I just want more ideas, come to the school. All of those reasons are good reasons to come to the school and hang out with me. Thank you so much for being here. And until next week, I'm sending you giant hugs and money magnet high fives.